Glenford was a small town where everything seemed to slow down and was strangely peaceful. The whole town looked like a still life painting, with old wooden houses, red dirt roads worn down by time, and vast green fields filled with the scent of wild grass. It was the place where Alex Mason grew up, an 18-year-old boy with sturdy brown hair and bright, curious eyes full of desire. However, deep inside, he always carried a heavy heart full of worries. He lived with his grandmother in a small house, which had nothing but thin walls, old beds, and simple items passed down from his grandparents. Alex's mother passed away when he was very young, and his father left when he was 4. His grandmother was the only one left, the one who had dedicated her entire life to taking care of Alex and teaching him simple yet invaluable life values. Alex was not a lazy person. On the contrary, he was the epitome of hard work. Every day, when the first light of day barely appeared, Alex would wake up early, taking newspapers and walking through every corner of the town, delivering them to every house. Despite his tired legs, he never complained. His job was just a part of the harsh life his family had to bear, but it served as the motivation for Alex to stay strong, dreaming of becoming a famous lawyer to change the poor fate he was carrying. He knew that big dreams required unrelenting sacrifice. One day, as his car rolled down the dirt road, with a morning newspaper in hand, fate sent him an opportunity to change his life. A shiny black luxury car sped by, making him look up. The car seemed like a symbol of a different world, one that he could never touch. The side of the car felt so alien to his humble life. It was like something too extravagant, something that would never belong to him. Then, a loud crash echoed, making Alex hurriedly turn his head. Without hesitation, Alex rushed to the side of the road, where the luxury car had crashed into a ditch. Everything happened too fast. The wheels slid off the road, and the car flipped over onto the green grass. The sound of a scream for help echoed through the quiet town. Even though Alex knew he couldn't do much to help, something urged him forward. He didn't think much. He just knew the person in the car needed help immediately. When he got closer, he saw a beautiful girl with long, silky blonde hair, panicking inside the car. Her eyes were wide with fear and hope. The water in the ditch began to rise, dragging the car deeper. Without a second thought, Alex plunged into the icy water, grabbing the door handle and trying to open it. Despite his body being pulled down by the strong current, he remained determined not to give up. After some effort, the door finally opened. Alex quickly pulled the girl out, helping her escape the danger. The pain of battling the cold water and the heavy car in a state of panic made Alex feel like time had stopped. When both of them reached the safe shore, Alex looked at the girl, whose eyes were now filled with gratitude. She gasped for breath, while Alex just sighed, tired, and closed his eyes for a moment to catch his breath. The girl smiled, but her smile was mixed with surprise and disbelief at what had just happened. She could see the light in Alex's eyes, but she realized that he was not the person she had imagined meeting. He was a poor boy, his hands still covered in mud, sweat dripping down his forehead, but he had a decisiveness and strength that few people possessed. "Are you okay?" Alex asked, his voice warm but slightly hoarse from exhaustion. The girl nodded, still looking a little bewildered. "Thank you so much. I don't know what to say." Alex smiled faintly. "It's nothing. Just think of it as helping out." It was the first time they truly looked at each other, a glance that carried a wordless connection. The girl was not a stranger in Alex's eyes, but in his heart, there was a feeling of unfamiliarity. As for the girl, Emma, although she didn't understand why a boy like Alex would save her while she was only used to the world of wealth and comfort, from that moment on, she knew her life would never be the same. "Who are you?" she asked him curiously. Alex, he replied briefly. I live here. What about you? Emma hesitated. Emma, I. I live on the other side of town. When looking at Emma, Alex saw a graceful, beautiful, and impressive girl. Her shiny golden hair highlighted her smooth skin and bright blue eyes. But when looking deeper, he sensed something that he couldn't quite understand. Something unhappy and burdened, despite everything she had, which many people would dream of. At that moment, Alex felt a change. Not a big one, but something new, something that had just begun in a brief moment. And although neither of them knew it, this meeting would pull them into a journey full of challenges. A journey that would not only change their lives, but the world around them as well. After that fateful meeting, Alex and Emma's lives were never the same. Despite coming from two very different worlds, one poor and the other wealthy, this moment created a unique bond that they couldn't deny. In the early days following the rescue, Emma remained in awe of Alex, not just because of his bravery, but also because of the simplicity he brought. Emma, accustomed to a glamorous life, began to feel a lightness in her relationship with Alex that she had never experienced with her classmates. In Alex, he felt an unexplainable curiosity about the girl he had just saved. Her golden hair, her bright eyes like the ocean, but deep inside them, he sensed a confusion, a strange loneliness. He noticed that although Emma had everything, she lacked something he always sought: peace and freedom in her soul. Because of this, Alex couldn't stop thinking about her, about the life she was living, about the dreams yet to be fulfilled, and about himself, what he wanted to achieve in life. On a late autumn afternoon, Emma decided to visit Alex, not only to thank him for saving her, but also because of a rising inner wave in her. She decided to learn more about Alex, to see if he was someone she could trust, someone with whom she could share the struggles in her heart. That day, when Alex was working at his grandmother's small cafe, Emma stood outside for a while, a little hesitant. She didn't know exactly what she was looking for, but the urge grew stronger. Finally, she took a deep breath and walked in. Hi, Alex. Emma smiled gently as she entered the cafe. Alex looked up, surprised to see Emma. He quickly wiped his hands on his apron and greeted her back. Oh, Emma, what can I do for you? Emma shook her head and sat down at a table near the window. She looked around, feeling the simplicity and coziness of the space. It was so different from the upscale restaurants she had visited. This was a world Emma had never known, where everyone had their own story. No, I just wanted to talk for a bit. Is that okay? She asked, her eyes shining with sincerity. Although surprised, Alex sat down across from her. They sat in silence for a moment, with only the ticking of the clock on the wall breaking the quiet, the space filled with just the two of them. Are you okay? Alex asked, not knowing where to begin. About the accident? Emma smiled, but this time it was a gentler smile, without the fear or tension she had shown earlier. I think I'm fine now, but I can't stop thinking about you. I don't understand why you did all that, why you ran to save me when you could have been in danger yourself. Alex looked straight into her eyes, unhesitant. I just did what I thought was right. Saving someone is just the natural thing to do. No need to think too much about it. Alex's answer made Emma feel a strange warmth. She didn't just see sincerity in his eyes, but also something she had never felt in her life, filled with calculations and pretension. She couldn't explain why, but there was something in Alex that made her feel safe. From there, they started talking more about everything and nothing too serious. They shared little stories from their lives, unfulfilled dreams, and seemingly insignificant things that created an unusual connection between them. Alex talked about his difficult life, about his mother who passed away when he was little, about the struggles he faced to study and dream of becoming a lawyer. Emma, instead of feeling pity, admired Alex more than ever. She realized that he was a person full of determination, and a little of her own insecurities began to fade away. In return, Emma shared about her own life, the expectations from her family, and the loneliness in a world of perfection. Although she had everything others would envy, she felt she had never truly lived for herself. She longed to be herself, to pursue her passion for art, which her father never accepted. With each story, they understood each other more, and their relationship slowly grew closer. They met more frequently, not in secret or private anymore, but in open meetings where Alex and Emma could freely talk and share everything. Gradually, the looks between them were no longer just curiosity, but a desire to understand, a search for harmony in their souls. Strolling in the park, sitting by the river on afternoons, or gazing at the stars late at night, all of these created unforgettable memories for both of them. Alex realized that he wasn't just looking for a friend, but someone who could walk with him through the road ahead, no matter how tough or challenging it may be. Emma also realized that not everything in life needed to be perfect. There were simple things, peaceful moments, and genuine feelings that she truly needed. And in those moments, Alex was the one she felt closest to. Their relationship was no longer just about helping each other. It had gradually become a deep connection. Their friendship was no longer a simple sharing, but an understanding, a wordless connection that only those who truly understood each other could feel. As the evenings grew darker and the stars lit up the sky, Emma and Alex realized that their relationship had crossed the boundaries of ordinary friendship. It was a strange combination of two worlds, a love that was slowly blossoming from the bond, the understanding, and even the simple moments that only true feelings could touch. The relationship between Alex and Emma had grown beyond friendship, overcoming the awkwardness of their first meeting and becoming a strong bond nurtured by trust and understanding. The afternoons spent sitting together, sharing dreams, sorrows, and life stories, gradually made them an inseparable part of each other's lives. But their love was not easy. It couldn't exist in the world that Emma's family had created for her, a world filled with control, expectations, and deep-rooted prejudices. One late evening, after a long week of working at the cafe and attending classes, Alex stood in front of the luxurious door of Emma's family mansion, feeling both excited and anxious. This wasn't his first time visiting her home, but this time was different. They had shared the most intimate details about themselves, but Alex always felt an invisible distance between his world and Emma's family. The girl standing next to him was still the daughter of a wealthy family, where the values and expectations of her parents always took precedence. He knew that if they truly wanted to be together, a difficult battle lay ahead. Emma opened the door, smiling warmly upon seeing Alex, but there was something troubled in her eyes, as if she already knew what was coming. "Alex, you came at the right time. We need to talk." Emma's voice betrayed the tension, and she gently pulled him inside. As soon as Alex stepped into the living room, he could feel the suffocating atmosphere of the mansion. Everything here was too perfect, from the luxurious sofas to the warm yellow light shining on expensive paintings hanging on the walls. This was a world Alex had never belonged to, but it was Emma's world. The tension increased when Emma's father, William Walker, entered the room. He was a powerful, stern man. Alex stood straight, trying to stay calm, though a sense of unfamiliarity enveloped him. "Hello, Alex," Mr. Walker said, but not in a friendly tone. It was a stern greeting, lacking any warmth. "Does Emma have something to tell you?" His question was not a welcome, but an interrogation, a scrutiny that anyone in this family could sense. Emma didn't give her father a chance to continue. She looked at Alex and then turned to face him. "Father, I want to talk about something important." Emma's gaze was full of determination, though her voice was somewhat weak. "Alex and we are in a relationship. I love him, Mr. Walker, hearing this, didn't show any emotion, standing still in silence. The entire room seemed to hold its breath for a moment. Alex felt like a hunted animal, standing before the cold gaze of a powerful man. Mr. Walker gave a slight smirk, a smile that wasn't friendly, making Alex instinctively feel that something was wrong. Emma, you can't speak to me about this like that, he said, his tone growing icy. You can't love a boy like this. Alex is not someone we can accept. He doesn't belong in your world, and you can't live in his world. His words made the atmosphere in the room heavier than ever. Emma felt as if a huge mountain was crushing her heart. She looked at her father, her eyes filled with disappointment and sadness. Father, I don't understand. I love Alex, and he has always been there for me. Why can't you accept him? Emma tried to hold back her emotions, but her voice revealed the hurt. Mr. Walker didn't respond immediately. Instead, he looked at Alex with a judgmental gaze. Do you know, Alex, my daughter has an entire future ahead of her. You have no money, no status, nothing but the dreams of a poor boy. Do you think you can give Emma a better future? Love cannot feed a person, and it surely can't feed my daughter. Alex stayed silent, his eyes no longer filled with confusion or worry as before. He had heard these words before in moments where he faced his own lack, in conversations with his mother and grandmother. He knew that convincing someone like Mr. Walker wouldn't be easy, but he also knew that if he didn't fight for this love, he might lose the most important person in his life. He took a step towards Mr. Walker, not breaking eye contact. I understand what you're saying, Alex said in a deep, steady voice. But I want you to understand that I'm not here to ruin Emma's life. I'm here to prove that I can build a good future for both of us. I don't have money or power, but I have ambition, strength, and perseverance. And I love Emma. Everything in the room fell silent, only the sound of Mr. Walker's sighs echoing through the space. Then he laughed, but it was a cynical laugh. Your love can't buy a future, Alex, he said coldly. You can try, but I will never accept you. I won't let my daughter waste her life on a relationship with no future. His words made Emma turn to Alex, her eyes filled with tears. She felt like she was standing between two worlds, between family and love, between expectations and the desire for freedom. And in that moment, she made the biggest decision of her life. Father, I love Alex, and I will not give him up. If you can't accept our love, I will leave. I will pursue what I believe is right. The entire room went silent. Mr. Walker looked at his daughter, his face unable to hide his anger, but also a sense of helplessness. Had he ever thought his daughter would dare challenge him like this? You can't leave, he said, his voice much weaker than before. You're still too young, Emma. I only want what's best for you. Emma didn't answer. She just stood there, holding Alex's hand tightly. She knew that this confrontation wasn't over. But in this moment, she had chosen love, chosen Alex, and decided to walk her own path, no matter how many challenges lay ahead. In the days following the intense confrontation with Emma's family, Alex was left with only one path to prove his worth: the path of education. Although he knew he was facing enormous challenges, he didn't give up. Since he was young, Alex had learned how to confront difficulties with patience and relentless effort. His family had no wealth, no connections, and no outside help, but he possessed a powerful weapon that outweighed everything: a burning desire and self-belief. Every morning, as the sun began to rise, Alex would wake up early to start a new day. Despite the cold weather outside or the long winter nights, he would diligently study by the small desk in the corner of his room. His grandmother often brought him a hot cup of tea, quietly watching him with care. Keep going, Alex, she would often say. Only perseverance will help you rise. Her words became an endless source of motivation, helping him push through the times when he felt exhausted, when he wanted to give up because everything seemed too difficult. During lunch breaks, when his classmates went to play, Alex would sit alone in the library, immersed in his books. He knew that the only opportunity to change his life was to study hard, to earn a scholarship, to prove that what he had was not just a distant dream, but real effort. Then, that day came, the day he received the interview invitation from Harvard University, the school he had always dreamed of attending. Each word in that letter felt like a reward for the months of relentless effort. However, the challenges were far from over. On the day of the interview, Alex had to face a greater challenge than anything he had ever encountered. It was the stress and pressure of having to prove he was worthy. He knew that, as a poor student, just one small mistake could shatter his dream of becoming a Harvard student. Entering the interview room, he faced a panel of 3 professors who looked at him as if he were a blank sheet, waiting for answers they hoped would be impressive. The first question came: "Why should we choose you, Alex? What makes you different from the other applicants?" Alex didn't answer immediately because he knew this wasn't just a simple question, but the only opportunity to prove himself. He took a deep breath and began to talk about his difficult life, the nights spent studying late, the times he had to work to support himself, and, more importantly, his ambition, a desire to learn, to change his life, and to become a lawyer, to help those who are less fortunate. He didn't share his story to seek pity, but to show that no matter how tough his starting point was, he would not give up on his dream. When the interview ended, no one spoke for a moment. The tension in the room was palpable. Alex stood up, feeling as if he had just fought through a great wave. He knew he had done his best, but was it enough to convince them? After what seemed like an eternity, one of the professors spoke. "We are impressed by your perseverance and enthusiasm, Alex. Indeed, you have proven that you deserve this opportunity." Those words felt like a huge sigh of relief. He had succeeded. When the acceptance letter from Harvard arrived, Alex couldn't believe his eyes. Everything felt like a dream. He looked at his grandmother, the woman who had raised and taught him. "We did it, Grandma," he said, his voice choked. The tears in his grandmother's eyes were no longer ones of sadness, but of pride, faith in her grandson. However, Alex's journey was not a path strewn with roses. The months spent studying at Harvard, with its immense academic pressure, intense exams, and lengthy essays, all made him tired and sometimes doubt himself. But whenever he looked back, he remembered the tough days in Glenford, the image of his grandmother, and the promise he made to himself never to give up. That was the motivation Alex needed to keep moving forward, even though the path ahead was still full of challenges. Emma, though not physically by his side throughout his time at Harvard, was always a priceless source of emotional support. Each letter, each video call between them, though simple, was filled with hope and love. Emma knew that Alex had spent his youth fighting for this dream, and she understood that only perseverance would help him succeed. Every time she saw Alex stand strong against challenges, she felt prouder and loved him even more. On the last day of his first year at Harvard, as Alex walked out of the classroom, the exhaustion still evident on his face, but inside, he was filled with confidence and hope. He had overcome everything, taking the first step toward his dream. And at that moment, he knew that this journey had just begun. No matter how many more obstacles lay ahead, with determination and unyielding effort, Alex would never give up on his dream. He was ready for the next challenges, walking forward with firm belief in a bright future awaiting him. Emma had once lived in a gilded cage, where everything was preordained, from each step in life to the big and small decisions of her family. Born into a powerful and wealthy family, she was always weighed down by the heavy expectations from her parents, especially from her father, who wanted her to follow in the family's footsteps and become a worthy heir to the real estate empire he had built. Her life lacked nothing, except for one thing: freedom and the right to decide her own future. Since meeting Alex, a poor but passionate boy, Emma had begun questioning her life. What she once thought was perfect now felt like a tight cage, suffocating all her dreams and desires into a mold she didn't want to belong to. She was not a tool for inheriting power or wealth from her parents, but a person with her own aspirations, passions, and dreams. Emma's greatest desire since childhood had been to become a fashion designer. Every time she flipped through fashion magazines, every time she watched famous fashion shows, her heart would race, wanting to explode from the creativity in the collections. But that had always been a distant dream for her, because her father had never valued art and fashion design. He saw it as a frivolous hobby, an unrealistic career that could not bring the wealth and power he wished to pass on to the family. All her passions had been stifled by his words, by the rules he had set for her life. But after meeting Alex, after sharing true stories, thoughts, and feelings with him, Emma began to change. She realized that she could no longer live in the shadow of her parents, could no longer be a puppet in the family's plans. She wanted to live authentically, to pursue the passion she had long suppressed. And more importantly, she wanted to prove to herself that she could succeed without relying on her parents' wealth. The day Emma decided to apply to prestigious fashion design schools had come. She quietly prepared her application, her first designs, and the essays about her dreams and vision for fashion. Every design, every detail was crafted with her full dedication. She didn't know what the future would hold, but she knew that this was something she had to do, the only path to truly living as herself. But when Emma announced her decision to her father, she knew a confrontation was inevitable. Her father, William Walker, could not hide his anger when he heard his daughter's declaration. Emma, don't you understand? You have everything you need: money, fame, a career, and you want to throw it all away to pursue a career with no guarantees? Do you really think you can live off that vanity? His voice was filled with sarcasm and disappointment. He couldn't accept such a thing. Emma knew he would never understand her, but she also knew that if she didn't stand up to him, she would forever live in his shadow, living a life without meaning. Yet Emma did not falter. She was determined and could not turn back. Father, I love fashion. I cannot live a life without doing what I am passionate about. I will not continue the path you have laid out for me. I want to become a designer. I want to learn and grow in the fashion industry. She stood before him, her eyes full of resolve. Though her heart was heavy because she didn't want to disappoint him, she knew she had to speak up to follow her own calling. William looked at his daughter with a look full of resentment and then walked away, not saying anything further. It was a long silence, but also a crucial moment in Emma's life. Her decision had spoken volumes. She would no longer let fear and the advice of others control her life. She would chase her dreams, no matter the opposition from her family or society. From then on, Emma had to fight not only with her father, but with herself. Every day, she had to prove to herself that she wasn't wrong. Sometimes, she felt lonely, and the days of studying fashion design at school seemed too hard, as no one was there to support her except herself. But every time she looked at her sketches, every time she saw the outfit she had created, a new sense of belief would rise in her heart. She knew that no matter how difficult this path was, she would not give up. Then one day, Emma's efforts began to pay off. She received an invitation to participate in an international fashion design competition, where young talents from all over the world would gather. This was a huge opportunity for her to showcase her talent and passion. Facing talented designers with experience and fame, Emma felt like a tiny grain of sand in a vast ocean. But she didn't let that hold her back. She worked tirelessly, designing unique outfits that expressed her own identity. Every stitch, every pattern bore her personal mark. On the day of the competition, Emma entered with a mix of nervousness and confidence. She knew she had given her all, and no matter the result, she wouldn't regret her decision. When her designs were showcased on the runway, the lights illuminating every step, every shining garment, Emma felt an indescribable sense of fulfillment. She had done it. She had proven to herself and to the world that true passion can become a reality. The final result of the competition was a well-deserved victory. Emma received recognition from the professionals, and it marked the greatest turning point in her design career. She knew she had not been wrong to pursue her dreams, no matter the cost. But more importantly, she knew she had truly lived a life she could be proud of. After years of relentless studying at Harvard, Alex finally reached the peak he had always dreamed of. Not only did he graduate with honors, earning a prestigious law degree, but he also quickly became one of the most renowned lawyers in his field, known not just for his sharp legal talents, but also for his passion and enthusiasm in his work. However, for Alex, that success wasn't just the result of relentless effort in his studies, but the fulfillment of a greater desire. The desire to prove that no matter how humble your beginnings, you can still conquer the highest heights. But Alex's journey to success wasn't just about career achievements. Every step he took was accompanied by Emma, who had always been there, igniting the sparks of hope during the darkest times. They had faced countless hardships, even fierce opposition from their families, but their love only grew stronger and more steadfast. Emma had always been the one to encourage him, never allowing Alex to step back or forget his ideals and goals. Although Alex now had everything one could wish for, a solid career, fame, and success in his work, he could never forget the struggles of the past. Especially the unforgettable moment when he walked into his first interview after graduation, facing some of the biggest names in the legal world. The interview room fell silent as Alex presented his viewpoint on a case he had been entrusted with by one of the prestigious clients. Despite being so young, Alex never felt out of place. He used every word, every legal argument with sharpness and confidence. In the end, Alex was invited to join one of the largest law firms in the city, where his career truly began to soar. From then on, Alex became not only a famous figure in his field, but also a highly influential person in the community. But for him, that success couldn't compare to convincing Emma's father, William Walker, who had once looked down on him because of his poor background. Every time he thought of him, a desire to overcome that barrier would burn fiercely within Alex. He not only wanted to prove he deserved Emma's love, but also to show that, despite all the societal prejudices, he could rise up and change his destiny. To achieve that, Alex had to face countless challenges, not just in his work, but in his personal life. Every time he encountered Mr. Walker, he felt the hostility and contempt in the man's gaze. But Alex never faltered. He knew that only by proving he was worthy of Emma could he earn the recognition of her father. Then, after several encounters, an opportunity arose when Mr. Walker asked Alex to represent one of the major companies he worked with in a complex lawsuit. This was the chance Alex had been waiting for. The lawsuit was an extremely tough challenge. The competitors were renowned lawyers, some of whom had built their careers over decades. But Alex didn't give up. He wouldn't allow himself to be defeated. He immersed himself in every detail of the case, meticulously studying every piece of evidence and applying everything he had learned from his years at Harvard. Every night, Alex worked tirelessly, and every morning he came up with new strategies to face his opponents. After a month of intense effort, Alex won the case, securing a favorable settlement for Mr. Walker's company. When Mr. Walker entered the room and looked into Alex's eyes, a different look appeared. It was no longer contempt, but respect. Mr. Walker stepped forward to shake Alex's hand, saying a brief sentence that changed everything. You did well." That statement was like a pass into the world of the powerful for Alex. And more importantly, it was the recognition he had longed for. From that moment on, the relationship between Alex and Emma's family began to change. Despite his career success, Alex never forgot the most important person in his life, Emma. She had always been his companion, his steady emotional support, helping him overcome every challenge. One evening, while they were walking down a quiet street, Alex looked into Emma's eyes and said, "I did it. Can you see? We have everything now." Emma smiled, her eyes shining, the streetlights casting a perfect glow on her face, making everything seem perfect. "You proved that love and effort can change everything. I always believed in you." On a warm autumn day, with golden leaves scattered along the streets, Alex and Emma decided to have their dream wedding. The wedding wasn't a lavish affair for the elite. Instead, it was a simple but meaningful ceremony where two hearts in love would be together forever, despite all the hardships they had faced. For Alex, it was a deserved success, not only in his career, but in love. He had proven that no matter where you start, with persistence and never giving up, anything is possible. Love was not something distant, but a journey full of difficulties, yet also full of joy and satisfaction. And for Emma, her choice to love Alex wasn't just a decision of the heart. It was the right choice for someone brave enough to live authentically, to love, and to pursue their dreams. The love between Alex and Emma has not been a journey paved with roses. Their story is a journey full of challenges, tears, and hardships. But it is precisely in those difficulties that their love has been tested and solidified. They not only faced challenges from their families, society, and careers, but also fought with the internal struggles within themselves, the doubts and fears about an uncertain future. But it was their sincere love and determination that helped them overcome it all. After their wedding, Alex and Emma embarked on a new life. No longer were they having secret meetings or facing the skeptical gazes of their families and society. Now, they were free to be together, but that didn't mean all their difficulties were over. The tension remained as Alex still had to deal with prejudice from colleagues in the legal field, while Emma continued to work tirelessly to maintain her career in fashion design, all of which contributed to the strain in their newlywed life. Late nights, when they were exhausted and worn out from work, they still had to face each other in silence. Not because the love was gone, but because they both worried about unresolved issues. As time passed, Alex couldn't deny that his work was becoming more demanding. Despite having a stable career and a strong reputation in law, each day brought a new case, a new demand, and endless working hours that left him with little time for his family. Emma, though she had achieved great success in her fashion career, was also not immune to the late nights spent sketching or traveling for business, unable to spend as much time with Alex as she would have liked. Their love, while passionate and sweet, could not escape the challenges posed by the pressures of work and life. One day, after a big argument about Alex having to leave for a sudden business trip on Emma's birthday, they sat down face to face, and the feelings of frustration and disappointment silently passed between them. Emma looked into Alex's eyes, her eyes moist but resolute. "I understand your work is important. I understand the demands you have to meet. But do you know that sometimes I feel like I'm no longer a priority in your life?" Her voice trembled, but it wasn't from anger. It was deep disappointment. Alex listened to these words, feeling a sharp pain in his chest. He understood exactly what Emma meant. He knew that despite his best efforts to earn money and build his career, he sometimes neglected what was most important. "I'm sorry," Alex said, his voice low. "I never wanted you to feel like this. I just wanted us to have a better future. But I let work take over all my time and forgot about the most important thing, you." They looked at each other, then sat in silence for a moment. No more words needed. They both knew that in love, it's not just about sacrifice, but also understanding and sharing. That day, they decided to make time for each other, despite their busy schedules, even if it meant sacrificing a little. Alex started rearranging his work schedule to spend evenings with Emma, even having peaceful weekends together. Emma also carved out brief moments during her hectic work weeks to share her fashion projects with Alex, helping him understand more about her passions so they could connect in a different way. The nights they walked together under the soft streetlights, the times they sat together watching a gentle movie, the moments when Emma rested her head on Alex's shoulder and they shared dreams and aspirations. These were the moments that kept their love rekindled, like a flame that had never gone out. They weren't just lovers, but companions, sharing everything from worries to small joys in life. However, their love was not always simple. When Emma received a great opportunity to expand her brand and had to travel for business to prepare for an important fashion show, Alex was suddenly caught in a complex lawsuit, putting both of them in a difficult situation. The time apart grew longer, and the brief calls at the end of the day couldn't replace the closeness they needed. But what mattered was they didn't give up on each other. Every call, every text, every time they shared their longing made their love grow even deeper. Throughout those months, they realized that love wasn't something that could be lived on feelings alone. True love required patience, sacrifice, and sometimes difficult decisions. However, when they stood together, nothing was impossible. Their love wasn't just about empathy, but also about respect and a deep understanding of each other's dreams and aspirations. They didn't just love each other. They learned to love the individual dreams each of them pursued. That night, when they sat together, nothing special except warm cups of coffee, they knew their love had survived challenges not just from the outside, but from the conflicts within themselves. We will always work together, won't we? Emma smiled softly, her eyes full of affection as she looked at Alex. He took her hand, smiled, and replied, always. Through every challenge, the love between Alex and Emma only grew stronger. They weren't just lovers, but teammates, rising together, facing life's storms together. And it was through those challenges that their love was honed and became stronger than ever before. On the last day of May, a beautiful sunny morning that could have been straight out of a fairy tale, the lush green leaves in Emma's family estate gently swayed in the summer breeze. Everywhere in the house was filled with fresh flowers, white roses, lilies, and lavender, all arranged with delicate care. Everything seemed perfect, from the chairs draped in white satin to the long tables adorned with flickering candles. But what made this day truly perfect wasn't just the elegance of the ceremony, but the culmination of true love, relentless efforts, and sacrifices that Alex and Emma had made for each other throughout their journey. From the time Alex was a poor boy living in a small house with his grandmother in Glenford, he had never dared to dream that one day he would stand at the altar in a grand wedding as a successful man, with the woman he loved by his side. They had gone through so many challenges, from Emma's family's objections to the difficulties in their careers and personal lives. But all those hardships had become cherished memories, valuable lessons, and now, as they stood together on this important day, they knew that their love and resilience had triumphed over everything. Emma, in her magnificent wedding dress, was the picture of a fairy tale princess. She wasn't a girl chasing wealth, nor was she seeking to escape an easy life. She was a woman with great aspirations, a talented fashion designer who had dared to give up everything to follow her dreams. And today, she stood there in her pure white gown, her eyes shining with happiness, next to the man she had chosen to spend her life with, Alex. No longer was she the young girl torn between family expectations and love. Emma had become a mature, confident, and strong woman, unafraid to face the challenges life threw her way. Alex, in his luxurious black tuxedo, waited for her at the end of the aisle, his heart racing, not just because of the overwhelming emotions in this monumental moment, but also because of the pride in the path he had taken. He was a renowned lawyer, someone who had overcome all prejudices and worked tirelessly to prove his worth. But more than that, Alex was a deeply loving man, someone who cherished the woman he loved and was always ready to sacrifice for her. The wedding took place with solemnity, but also deep emotion. Everyone was there: close friends of Alex and Emma, business partners, family members, and longtime friends of Alex's grandmother. All of them witnessed a love that had been tested over time, through challenges, and now stood as a testament to the strength of perseverance and genuine love. As they exchanged vows, Emma tightly held Alex's hand, looked into his eyes, and said, "You are the only one I can trust, the only one I want to spend my life with. You are not only my man, but also my companion, my source of encouragement, the one who is always ready to face every challenge with me. I love you, and I will love you forever." Her vow was not just a promise in a ceremony, but a firm commitment to a future they would build together, where love would always be their guiding light. Alex, with a gentle smile full of sincerity, replied, "You are the only one I want by my side, the only one I will care for and protect for life. I've faced many challenges, but I've never felt stronger than when I'm with you. You are my faith, my hope, my everything. I love you, and I will always love you." His words were a strong affirmation of a love that wasn't just about feelings, but also about actions, protection, and sharing a life together. As the vows were exchanged, a light rain began to fall, as if to bless the occasion, a sign that their love would always be nurtured and protected. Tears of joy rolled down Emma's cheeks, while Alex carefully wiped them away. This was the moment they had waited for, the moment when all the struggles and hardships seemed small in comparison to the power of true love. The ceremony ended in boundless joy and happiness. Congratulations rang out, and everyone rejoiced in witnessing a love that had withstood countless challenges to bring them together. Alex and Emma were not just a happy couple, but a symbol of resilience and undying love. They walked out of the ceremony hall, hand in hand, looking ahead to a new life awaiting them. Alex and Emma's wedding wasn't just a special event. It was proof that true love can change lives, break down social barriers, and, most importantly, create a brighter future for those who dare to live with passion, perseverance, and love. Every challenge they had faced, every hardship in life, had not been able to dim the love they shared. And today, in this sacred moment, they prove that true love can conquer all. The story of Alex and Emma is an emotional journey built on the foundation of genuine love, tireless effort, and the aspiration to overcome the most difficult challenges in order to achieve happiness. Every detail in the story is not just a simple situation, but a profound lesson in perseverance, determination, and sacrifice. The meaning of the story goes beyond the two main characters finding each other. It carries a message about living authentically, where love is not just about emotions, but also about actions, sacrifice, and empathy. First, the story affirms an important truth. Your starting point does not determine your future. Alex, a poor boy growing up in a simple family with many hardships, was not deterred from pursuing his dreams and overcoming adversity. From a young man with nothing but ambition, Alex proved that with perseverance and passion, anyone can achieve what they desire, regardless of how humble their beginnings are. This story not only encourages those struggling in life, but also inspires anyone with a dream who has yet to take action. What's crucial in the story is not only overcoming external obstacles, but also overcoming oneself. Alex not only had to fight against society and material difficulties, but also had to overcome the doubts and fears within himself. Every step he took was a continuous struggle between skepticism and self-belief. The story shows that whether or not you have talent, perseverance and determination are the deciding factors in achieving your goals. The love between Alex and Emma symbolizes the harmony between two opposing worlds. They didn't just love each other. They found complementarity, support, and encouragement in their differences. Emma, a girl from a wealthy family, had once lived in a world where everything was readily available and easy, but upon meeting Alex, she learned to appreciate life and true values. She didn't just love Alex for his courage and resilience, but for the sincerity in the love he offered her. Emma dared to leave behind wealth and the expectations of her family to choose to live true to herself, to choose love and her own dreams. It's a lesson in bravery, in daring to live for oneself, to accept challenges to pursue what one is passionate about. The story also highlights the importance of companionship and understanding in love. Alex and Emma are not just lovers but also companions in life. They never let hardships or differences in circumstances create barriers to their love. They are always ready to listen, understand, and help each other overcome challenges. This is an important message about love. It's not just about spontaneous emotions, but about understanding and sharing, helping each other move forward. The story teaches us that in order for love to truly endure, there must be empathy and sharing from both sides. Additionally, the story reflects a part of modern society where factors such as social status, money, and power are often placed above all else. Emma's family, especially her father, opposed a relationship with Alex not because of feelings, but because of societal standards. This emphasizes the importance of overcoming social prejudices in order to find happiness and freedom. The story poses the question of whether we can live our lives the way we want, or if we will always have to live according to the expectations of society and family. Alex and Emma chose the path of love, a path filled with challenges, but also the right one they decided to walk together. What makes this story unique is not only about love, but also the lessons about maturity. Alex, from a poor boy, became a brilliant lawyer, while Emma, a girl bound by family expectations, dared to stand up for her passion. Their transformation wasn't easy. It was a grueling process full of challenges, but through it, they found true values in life and in love. This story reminds us that maturity does not come from instant successes, but from the process of learning and facing life's challenges. At the end of the story, when Alex and Emma stand together on their wedding day, it marks not only the culmination of love, but also the affirmation of a long and difficult journey that was well worth it. They didn't just love each other. They also rose together, fought together, and found their own path. From that point on, the story is not only a beautiful love story, but also a lesson in perseverance, in never giving up on dreams, and in love overcoming all obstacles to bring two people together. The story of Alex and Emma is not just for those who are in love, but for everyone on a journey to find their goals in life. It shows us that no matter how many challenges we face, as long as we have faith, perseverance, and love, we will find a path to happiness and success. This story confirms that if we dare to live true to ourselves, dare to love, and dare to pursue our dreams, nothing is impossible.